So till now we talked about how to obtain signal flow graph, but eventually we have to obtain the transfer function using SFG. So the reason that we drew SFG is the final thing that we require is the transfer function of the system. So this was given by a person named Mason, and Mason he gave a rule to obtain the transfer function. So what he did, he obtained this formula by reverse engineering. So he, from the signal flow graph, obtained the expressions, the mathematical representation of the node variables. Then from that expression, he understood the formula. So this formula in some books is also called as Mason's gain formula, and is given by this particular expression shown here. So you have the transfer function. So this is nothing but transfer function represented by G. So don't get confused with the block G. So this is overall transfer function of the system, and this is given by the expression or the formula sigma Tk delta K by delta. Some of the books have written this as n equal to 1, so the summation will be taken from 1 to k. I'll be explaining what each of these terms stand for. Pk delta k upon delta. So in most of the book you might find the expression pk. So pk is taken for forward path or path, and k, so we now define what is k. K is the number of forward path. So you will have to, after obtaining the SFG, identify the number of forward path present, and that will correspond to the value of k. Then Tk is the kth forward path. So you'll be having terms like T1, T2, T3, T4. That again depends upon how many forward path you identified in the SFG. Delta is an expression which is written as 1 minus summation of all loop gains. So for obtaining delta, you will have to identify, first of all the loops that are present in the SFG. Then after identifying all the loops, you will be writing the gains of each of these loops and summing them up. So this summation loop gains mean that you are going to sum all the individual loop gains here. Then you have plus summation non-touching loop gains taken two at a time. Then you will identify the number of paired two non-touching loops. Summation of two non-touching loops will be identified. You will first have to identify non-touching loops. So two non-touching loops will be multiplied together, their gains will be multiplied together and summed with another pair of two non-touching loops. So I'll explain this when I do questions in the next slides. Then you will be talking about minus summation non-touching loops gains taken 3 at a time. So this will be for 3 non-touching loops. So first is individual. This summation loop gains means this will be taken for individual loops. The second term will be taken for 2 non-touching loops. The third will be taken for 3 non-touching loops. And fourth will be taken for 4 non-touching loops. And notice that you have alternate sign, like minus, then plus, then minus, then plus, then minus, and so on. Then you define delta k. Delta k is nothing but same thing that you understood for delta, but will be specifically defined for forward path. So k comes from the forward path. So I'll explain. So delta k will be taken similar to delta. So I guess it's not necessary that you understand this expression because it will make things more confusing. Notice that the alternating signs for the components of delta. The following example will help clarify Mason's rule. So suppose that we took the same block diagram representation from the previous lecture and we obtain the SFG. Now we'll try to obtain its transfer function using Mason's gain formula. So there I told you that this particular example has 2 forward paths. starting from RS G1, G2, G3C. Then the second forward path is RS G1. Then you have this particular branch arrow, then G3, then to the output. And there are no other forward paths. So let's write the forward path. So the first forward path, that is T1. Remember the formula. So you have formula where you have summation T1, summation Tk delta K upon delta. So this means T1 delta 1 plus T2 delta 2 plus T3 delta 3 up and so on upon delta. So we will first identify T1, T2, T3, T4 depending upon how many forward paths are present in the SFG. So in this particular case, since you have two forward paths, one is T1, G1, G2, G3. So G1, G2, G3. So this is represented by 1 because there is no block that we saw in between these 2 points. So this will be having a gain of 1. Then the second forward path is G1 multiplied by this gain 1, then G3. So G1 multiplied by 1, G3. And I don't observe any third forward path present in the system. Then I talk about loop gains. So for this, I identify how many loops are present in the system. So I see G2 minus H2 is one loop. Then I see G3 minus H3 another loop. Then I see G1, G2 minus H1 the third loop. So in total, there are 3 loops. And if any one of you see any fourth loop, you can answer me. But I see only 3 loops. That is why I'm going to write loop gains only for 3. So the first loop gain is G2 minus H2. The second loop gain is G1, G2 minus H1. The third loop gain is G3 minus H3. Now from these 3 loops, I'll identify which of them are in 2 or in a pair of non-touching. So 2 non-touching loops. How many 2 non-touching loops are there? So G2 minus H2 is non-touching to G3 minus H3. So it's clear from the figure. These 2 loops L1 and L2 are not, sorry, L1 and L3. This should be L3. L1 and L3 are non-touching, while L1 and L2 are touching. There's one more correction. L2 and L3 are also non-touching. So this particular loop G1, G2 minus H1 is non-touching to G3 minus H3. So I'll be writing one more loop, that is you have the second pair of loop. L2 and L3, they are non-touching, and the gain for L2 is G1 G2 minus H1, G1 G2 minus H1, and G3 minus H3. So this is the second pair of loop that is non-touching. Now from this we move forward. So there will be a slight correction because I missed this pair of loop. I guess this is correct to all. Anybody has any doubt or any sort of feedback for this? Anyone can argue. So then I try to identify 3 non-touching loops. So I see that there are no non-touching loops which are 3 in number. So there are 3 loops, but 2 of them are touching. Had all the 3 loops non-touching, then in that case I would be writing the gain for all the 3 loops. But since L1 and L2 are touching, and that is why I don't observe any non-touching loop that are 3 in numbers. But there are 2 pairs of 2 non-touching loops. Now I'm going to use the formula. First of all, I'll identify what is delta. So if you look at the formula, it says that delta is 1 minus sum of all individual loop gains plus gain of 2 non-touching loops, sum of the product of 2 non-touching loops. Then you have minus sum of the gain product of 3 non-touching loops, and so on. So delta is 1 minus. So all the loop gains Here are the loop gains G2 minus H2, G1, G2 minus H1, G3 minus H3. So I'll sum them up and put it here. So I fed this here. So this is summation loop gains. Then I will identify pair of two, I'll identify two non-touching loops. So I identified this as L1 and L3. The second is L2 and L3. So now what I am going to do is I am going to multiply their gains, which means gain of L1 and L3 will be multiplied and summed with gain of L2 and L3 product. So this will give you, since I missed it previously, so this should be having one more. First of all, this will be product and will be summed with the product of the second pair, like this. So you have 1 minus, this is sum of loop individual loop gains, then you will be adding the gain products of two non-touching loops. So this corresponds to one loop, this corresponds to second loop. They will be multiplied, then summed with the second pair. So this is loop 2 and this is loop 3. They will be multiplied and you have a summation of. Likewise, if you identified three non-touching loop, in that case you would be having an entry here, but since there are no three non-touching loops or there is no expression for it, so you will be assigning 0 here. Then you will be obtaining delta 1. So how do you obtain delta 1? So for obtaining delta 1, you will first you will identify what have you called T1 as. So delta 1 comes from the first forward path, delta 2 comes from the second forward path. So this, from this you will be obtaining delta 1. So if you look T1, what is T1? T1 is the forward path that you start from this point, move along the line this manner and reach the output. So this is T1. So for obtaining delta 1, what you do is you try to identify part of SFG that doesn't touches T1. So if you look at the forward path, if you see any part of SFG that doesn't touches the forward path T1, so I don't see any SFG that will not touch T1. So almost or every part of this SFG touches the part T1. Or in other words, if you were able to erase the part T1 and all the elements or parts of SFG associated with it, so the SFG that remains after erasing will give you the value of delta 1. So let's suppose that I erased T1 and all the part of SFG that touches T1 will be erased. So I will erase this part that touches SFG, that touches T1, then I will be erasing this as well, and I will be erasing this, and I will be erasing this. So if erase, so I don't see any part, anything that remains after erasing. And thus, if you try to, delta 1 is nothing but the value of delta for SFG not touching T1. So you will have to identify SFG that doesn't touches T1, and after that you obtain that SFG which doesn't touches T1, you will be obtaining the value of delta for that SFG, which will be nothing but delta 1. I guess this is clear. So if I see this particular problem, I see that there is no part of SFG which remains or which doesn't touches T1, and thus if you apply formula of delta, which is nothing but 1 minus sum of loop gains, since there is no SFG that remains and hence no loop, and hence this will be 0. And since this becomes 0, all the subsequent components will also become automatically 0. Now likewise, if you want to identify delta 2, so for delta 2 you will have to identify the SFG which corresponds to forward path T2, which is this one. This is T2. And then I will have to identify part of SFG that doesn't touches this T2. So in other words, if you're going to erase the path T2 and all the elements of SFG that are associated with it or that are touching it, then what part of SFG remains? Can anyone answer? What part of SFG remains which doesn't touches T2? So that is only a node which remains. So this is the node which remains after you erase T2 and all the elements that are associated with it or that are touching it, and thus the remaining SFG is simply one node, while all other, if you look at this this branch, this also touches the SFG, this branch also touches the SFG, and this branch also touches. So the only thing that remains is this particular node which does not touches the SFG, and hence you have to draw that part of SFG separately. So if you draw that part of SFG separately, you are remain with only a single node. And if you're asked to find the value of delta for this particular node, applying the same formula, so this will be 1 minus, since this is only a single node, nothing else, no loop, and hence this becomes 0, and we call this as delta 2. So this is how we obtain delta 1 and delta 2. And after obtaining delta 1, delta 2, T1 and T2, we'll be feeding this into the formula, since transfer function is given by summation Tk delta k by delta, which can be written as T1 delta 1 plus T2 delta 2 upon delta. Since you have only two forward paths and third is not present, that is why I have not written T3. And now I'm going to substitute all the values that I obtain in this particular expression to finally obtain the transfer function given as follows. So I guess this makes clear to all. And suppose that you're given another example. So applying Mason's-Gain formula, you are required to find the transfer function of this particular system. So in this particular case, you see that there's only one forward path. There is no other forward path present. So that is G1, G2, G3, G4, G5. This is first forward path. Then you will have to identify loops. So the loops are G2, H1. This is the first loop. Second loop, G2, H4. Then you have G2, G3, G4, G5, G7. This is the third loop. Then fourth loop is G7, H4. So they are all written here. Now from these four loops, you'll have to identify which of them are non-touching. So it's clear from the figure that the largest loop among these four is touching all the loops, except for that large loop. The three loops seems to be non-touching. So you have three pairs of two non-touching loops. Loop 1, loop 2 are non-touching, loop 1, loop 3 are non-touching, and loop 2 and loop 3 are non-touching. So there are three pairs of non-touching loops. Then you will have to identify three non-touching loops. So from this figure, it is clear that loop 1 doesn't touches loop 2 and both of them doesn't touches loop 3. So there is one 3 non-touching loop. Loop 1, 2, 3 are non-touching, and hence their gain will be written as follows. They are multiplied. And we are going to substitute this in delta. So 1 minus sum of individual loop gain. So you have 4 loop, these correspond to individual loop gains. Then you have sum of gain product of two non-touching loop, which is given by this expression. So since you identified three pair of non-touching loops, two non-touching loops, so there are three terms, and then you identified one pair of three non-touching loop, and thus this is the expression for three non-touching loop. And don't forget that there is an alternate minus, plus and minus sign. Similarly, for delta 1, you will have to identify the SFG that doesn't touches T1. So if you look at the same figure, you identify T1 as this particular path. So let me clear the mess. So if you see the first forward path, which is nothing but this, and the part of SFG that doesn't touches this forward path is nothing but this particular loop. So if you're going to erase, if I erase this, I erase this and the SFG that touches it. So I'm going to erase this thing as well, this thing as well. This will be erased, this will be erased. So the only thing that remains is this particular SFG. So for this SFG, if you are going to write delta 1, so this will give you delta 1. So applying the formula of delta for obtaining delta 1 will give you 1 minus sum of loop gain. So in this for this particular SFG, you have one loop, which is G7H4, and that is why you look here that delta 1 is given as 1 minus G7H4. And since you don't have second forward path, so we are not going to find delta 2, since we didn't identify the T2, there's only T1. And thus, if you're going to substitute all the values you obtain, the final transfer function will be given as T1 delta 1 upon delta. This is the final transfer function. For simplification, because delta is going to be quite long, we have not written the value of delta here. So I guess this explains. Then here's your home assignment, question number 4 and 5. So if you like, you can take a snapshot of it. And now, if I talk about this particular question that I gave you in block diagram reduction, if I correctly remember, there was a bonus mark that was being assigned, but I didn't receive any answer from your side. So none of you answered this question. Now I suggest that you try to solve this particular question using signal flow graph applying Mason's gain formula. Okay, so this will not be carrying bonus mark, but for your understanding, or if any one of you obtain an answer using block diagram reduction, so you can match your transfer function, the answer that you obtained there, with the answer you will get by applying Mason's gain formula to this question. So if anyone has question, you can ask me.